Hey everybody, welcome back in Madman Club Betting Podcast. To go back on this bowl situation and playoff situation, we were talking about last week, and I got a little blowback from different things I said. So to dive back in, and of course, I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I know I said that Notre Dame deserved to be in, and I still think they do. However, I'm not a fan. I'm just pointing out the facts that the committee continues to be biased, as we all know, because I'll tell you a team that definitely don't deserve to be in is Alabama. We talked about this several times, and of course I spend a ton of time talking to different people about the bowl games and about all of those things with the playoff and the NIL and the transfer portal. But guys, the FCS has been doing this playoff system for a long, long time, and it works. It works every year. The college basketball has been doing 64 teams, 68 teams now. For years, they've been doing a playoff. And, we talk about the playoff, and they wanted to go to 4 teams and then, 12 teams. And I think, we talked about 16, and I get people saying, well, they shouldn't go to 16. And if they go to 16, why not go back to the BCS, et cetera, et cetera. Guys, if you look at the top 16 teams in the country, and you drop down past that point, you can begin to realize that you've passed those teams that would ever argue that they deserve to be in. Because once you get down to number 16, you start looking at some 3-loss teams that understand that they're not getting in. And I think you can find a way to make sure every single year that you got the right guys in there. But you could go 24 teams as far as that goes. It's not going to change anything. The NCAA wants to make money on this, and I know it's all about the money, which is why they're so biased to make sure the SEC is in, making sure that they're keeping out some of the teams they don't want in, like Notre Dame, who's an independent. That doesn't churn the money for the NCAA. But guys, as far as playoffs go, you could go to 24 teams and make the bowl games part of that playoff system. So you can't argue the fact that you can't use the playoff. The playoff works. It's worked for the FCS. It works for basketball every single year. It's worked in the NFL for years. It works in the NBA. Every sport we have has a playoff, and you find a way to win, making your way through the gauntlet of the playoff. You lose, you go home. You win, you continue, and that's the way it works. But there are some teams that did deserve at least a look to get into this. When you start looking at BYU, who lost to Texas Tech twice, no one else. Texas Tech twice. Texas Tech's the number 4 team in the country, who is definitely in with a bye. Notre Dame, and I know we look back at head-to-head, but head-to-head didn't matter a few years ago. It only mattered this year because the committee wanted it to matter. If you look at where Alabama was ranked 3 weeks before the season was over, and as they continued to rank, they move Alabama up on a week where they beat Auburn by 7 points and did not look good doing it. So you can't sit and tell me that the committee is not 100% biased. They're going to put in everyone they want to put in as long as they can make it look good when they talk out of both sides of their mouth to explain it to everybody. So anyway, I've ranted enough about that. I do think you could go to 16 teams. I think you could go further than that if you wanted to, but there's no need. I think 16 would take care of it. FCS does it as well. That's what they settle on. I don't hear a bunch of those people arguing about who got in and who didn't. And I also can tell you this, in the FCS, in the playoffs, the 2 top teams in the FCS got knocked off early in the playoffs, so it can happen. So you can have some teams, maybe James Madison doesn't do it, maybe Tulane doesn't do it, but it can happen, and it will before it's over with. There's going to be one of these teams that no one expects to sneak into a Final Four or even into the championship game and maybe win the darn thing. As we move forward, because we all know NIL, transfer portal, coaches changing, coaches are leaving just about as fast as the players are. Now when you start looking at some of these teams that are pouring the money into these programs, you're going to have teams like JMU, Tulane, and some of these schools that's going to go out and get some 4-star, 3, 4, a couple 5-star players, and they're going to be able to play in the sandbox with the big boys. So in the next couple years, mark my word, you're going to see some of these outliers that happen, because it's not just going to be the SEC. It's not just going to be the Big Ten as we move forward. There's going to be some of these other teams that pull off some of these games, make it into some semifinals, and even into the championship. Look at Indiana. Once Signetti got there over these last 2 years, what he's done through the transfer portal and through NIL deals. Look at the team he's built. They're sitting at number 1 right now in a bye, waiting for the next game. So it can be done, and it can be done with a team that's not a football school that was looked at as a basketball school. So it's going to happen. As we dive in, guys, I talked enough about that. I do think they need to change the dates for the NIL. The dates for the transfer portal. They need to move this to a point where players can't transfer till the bowl season is over with. And I know you want the players on your staff on your team as quick as possible, so the staff can start working with them. But guys, they can wait a couple more weeks till this is over with. Also, I do think that they needed to also, if they're going to pay the players and they're going to treat it like such and compare it to what has now become professional football, semi-professional football, then you don't need to be talking to coaches before the season's over. So they should penalize every team, everybody that contacts a coach before the season's over, and that's tampering. So they could put in some tampering laws to make sure these coaches aren't getting contacted, make sure these players aren't leaving. They need to tie every single NIL contract, as they call it, even though it's not a contract per se, but they need to tie this money into bowl games. They need to tie it into discipline to these players and make sure if these players are going to play and get paid, that they play every single game they're supposed to play. This opting out, that's for the birds, man. If you played 11 games with your team, you need to play the 12th game if you get a bowl game. That's just my opinion. But, these players talk about, I could get hurt and hurt my first-round draft pick. Well, you could fall and hurt yourself at the house falling down the steps. So that can happen anytime. I don't think you should walk away from your team who helped you get there just because you think it might hurt your draft stock. I think that it is a team sport. Teams help teams get better. Teams help players get better. So I think they need to tie all this in from an NIL perspective to the players that play and make sure they play all the games to make sure they get their check. And if that's the case and they don't want to play and they want to sit out, then they don't get paid. Real simple. You don't go to work, you don't get paid. So there you go. That's my rant on the NIL, the portal, all of those things. As we dive in, guys, I know I said get over to madmanclub.com. Get over there today. Get subscribed. All of the plays, the college plays, NFL plays, the Madman Dog of the Week is all over at the website. Even though we're not having a podcast next week, we will continue to post plays through the rest of the season, all the way through the New Year's. We dive into this NFL playoffs and move on into the Super Bowl. But those plays will be posted over at madmanclub.com. We may sprinkle a few of those on TikTok from time to time, but make sure you get over there and get registered. You'll get all the plays over at madmanclub.com. Make sure you get over to TikTok, hit that follow button, smash that like button. Get over to X, Instagram, Facebook, follow us everywhere. Get over to YouTube, get subscribed. That way you get all the podcasts. You'll get notified every time one gets posted. All of our shorts over at YouTube. Over on the podcast platform, all of the podcasts will be posted every week. So make sure you follow us over there. Give us a 5-star review on the podcast platform. We'd like to grow this thing as quickly as possible. Guys, as we continue to take that madman train to the station and cash in these tickets, we're up 124 units, 55.1% on the year. So a pretty good year so far. We want to keep it rolling. We'll talk about some of these games coming up. South Florida and Old Dominion. As I said before, I had a lean in this game. I don't think either team can stop each other. I think Old Dominion can score with anybody out there. The total sits at 53, South Florida -3. I really believe this game will go way over the total. That game is on a Wednesday night, the 17th. Delaware, Louisiana, another game I really, really like. We've already posted that play over 59.5. That line has since creeped up to 61.5. UL sits at -3 playing Delaware. Delaware has got Minicucci. He's a really good quarterback. Both of these teams are going to score at will, I do believe. I really believe this thing soars over the total. So you can lock those two plays in. Those are straight from the Madman. I really like those. Thursday, Missouri State and Arkansas State. Don't have a lean right now on that game. That is this week. Friday, December 19th. That's when the playoffs start. You also have Kennesaw State, Western Michigan. Western Michigan right now sits at -3.5. Total sitting at 49.5. But I have a lean toward Kennesaw State. This team's 10-3. Man, what a job the coach has done with this team this year. Second year in the FBS, and they have really, really turned it around and look really, really good doing it. Playing Western Michigan. Western Michigan's 9-4. I really believe Kennesaw State can hang in here with these guys. Look for this game to be super close. I believe they keep it within a field goal against Western Michigan. Memphis playing NC State Friday. NC State's -4.5. Total sits at 58.5. Memphis has looked good at times. They've also looked terrible at times. So has NC State. Light the scoreboard up one week. Next week, come out and lay an egg. Don't have a really good feeling about this game one way or the other. So we'll check it out later in the week as we decide which side we might be on. Alabama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma 10-2, Alabama 10-3. Alabama looked awful the last time they played, which concerns me whether or not I should take them or not take them this week. Normally when a team looks really, really bad the week before a big game, that's the time to jump on that team and take them. So it makes me lean toward Alabama. -1.5, total sits at 40. Super low total. They expect a low-scoring game. The weather is going to be really good. It's going to be in the 50s, so not a concern for weather as far as the points are concerned. So I'm leaning Alabama. I haven't made a play on this game yet. It will be posted on madmanclub.com. But I am leaning Alabama. I really believe Ty Simpson will come out and play a little better game this time around. So look for that game. Saturday, we've got Miami, Texas A&M, Tulane, Ole Miss, Oregon, and JMU. Two big favorites on Saturday. And I'm leaning in the opposite direction. Ole Miss, Tulane. Ole Miss is a 17.5-point favorite against Tulane. They should blow them out. However, Lane Kiffin's gone. New coach is in. They've already named Golden the coach. I think they'll play well, but I still believe that there's players in the back of their mind that may get into this transfer portal and leave to go play at LSU with Lane Kiffin. That's a huge concern when you're talking about an Ole Miss team sitting in the playoffs as a 17.5-point favorite against an 11-2 Tulane team who has played and showed out every single week and got a good football team. So it makes me lean a little toward Tulane. I think they'll keep this game a little closer than expected. JMU catching 21.5. I think this line will continue to drop as we get closer to game time. Oregon is a really good football team, but I can tell you right now, JMU is 12-1 and can score with the best of them. So I believe this game not only will go over the total, but I'm leaning JMU because I think they keep it under the 2-touchdown mark, which will more than cover the 21 against Oregon. So JMU is a lean for me. Tulane is a lean for me. And guys, as bad as I hate to say this, I love Texas A&M. Elko's done a hell of a job there. They're at College Station. So 100,000 fans screaming at Miami, but I just have that feeling they got them in the playoff. Crystal ball, there are times when he shows out and pulls those big upsets. I think this might be that time. I'm leaning Miami. I haven't made my mind up. The line has trickled down to 3. Total sitting at 51.5. I think they feel extremely lucky that they got into the playoffs because they know they were on the outside looking in. I think that helps motivate Miami, knowing that they kind of got a second chance at this. So I look for them to play really good ball this weekend against Texas A&M. Noon start on Saturday for that one. Again, leaning Miami as we move closer to this playoff in college football. That should be very interesting as we move into this coming weekend and the weeks ahead to find us a champion this year in the NCAA. Over to the NFL. A lot of big games this week as these playoff races continue to be super close. There's not a true runaway winner. The Kansas City days are over with for this year anyway. They got eliminated last week by, was it the Chargers? I think it was the Chargers last week. Yep, the Chargers. And, of course, not ever want to see anybody get hurt. Patrick Mahomes, torn ACL, so his season's over with. Also, Micah Parsons is out as well for Green Bay, and they're fighting for, winning that division as well. As you go into Thursday night, you got the Rams in Seattle. The Rams are -1.5. That is since flipped because Seattle opened up as the favorite. I lean the Rams right here. I think they're playing really good ball. Stafford is playing lights out right now. 37 TDs on the year. What a hell of a year he's had. 3,700 yards, 5 picks. He's done a great job, and the Rams have an opportunity right now to secure the first place position out there in the NFC West by themselves if they can beat Seattle Thursday night. Saturday, you've got the Eagles and the Commanders. Washington can play spoiler, and that is it because they've been eliminated. But if Eagles lose out and Dallas continues to win the rest of the year, there's a chance that Dallas can win this division, and the Eagles would have to settle for a wild card spot. Bears, Packers. We know how this one ended last time. 9-4, 10-4. The tie may come into play for the Packers as they get closer to the playoffs. Green Bay's -1.5. Total sits at 46.5. Green Bay won this game last time by 7 points. Look for the Bears to play a little better this time around. Caleb Williams is finding his receivers a little better now than he was here a few weeks ago. I look for the Bears to win this game and to take over first place in the division, or stretch the lead in the division, I should say. Bills on the road at Cleveland. Big favorites in this one. It looks like Josh Allen's finally getting to take off with the ball a little bit more. Every time he seems to do that, it seems like Buffalo finds a way to win. Looks like they're finding their groove right now. And in this particular situation with Buffalo, if they can continue to win and get into the playoffs, you don't have Patrick Mahomes to worry about. You may not have to worry about Baltimore. Cincinnati's out. No Joe Burrow. So this may be his opportunity, Josh Allen, opportunity to get into the playoffs and not have to worry about those teams that end up eliminating him each year. He will have to end up playing New England, of course, but there's a chance that Josh Allen could have an easier path to the Super Bowl this year if they can continue to play well and get in. Chargers, Cowboys -1.5. Don't have a lean in this game right now. Chiefs, that line's dropped to 3.5. They opened up at 10 a couple weeks ago, playing Tennessee on the road, but now that Mahomes is out, they're now sitting at a 3.5-point favorite. Cincinnati, Miami coming off a loss against Pittsburgh on Monday night, playing Cincinnati. Both of these teams are eliminated. Jets, Saints, they're eliminated. They play this week. The Giants and the Vikings, they play. Panthers. My Panthers that I called back in July of this year, the possible sleeper in the NFC South, playing for the division lead, both sitting at 7-7. Tampa Bay on the road. They play at Carolina. Tampa Bay's -3. Panthers had a chance to take the lead in the division, lost to the Saints last week in a big upset. But the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Bucks hook up this weekend. We'll see how that one goes. Pittsburgh plays Detroit, Falcons, Cardinals, and we've got the Baltimore Ravens playing the New England Patriots, another game that's got playoff implications as well, on a Sunday night. Monday Night Football, you've got Indianapolis playing the San Francisco 49ers. That's going to be an interesting game because San Fran needs to continue to win as well. Guys, continue to stop by, get on that Madman train. We're taking it to the station, cashing these tickets. We'll keep posting all of our plays as we go through the week and into next week. Again, no podcast next week because of Christmas. Speaking of that, hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. And if the pod don't make it out in time, a Happy New Year as well. Hope you get everything you asked for Christmas. We're cashing tickets for Christmas is what we're going to be doing. Guys, get on that Madman train. Follow us everywhere. Get over to X, Instagram, Facebook. Get over to TikTok. Smash that follow button. Get over to YouTube. Make sure you get subscribed. Check out all the short reels and all the podcasts over on the YouTube channel. Make sure you get over to the podcast platform. Give us a 5-star review over there. We appreciate everybody stopping by. That is a wrap for today's podcast. And guys, continue to bet smart and bet like a madman.